I've been seeing a lot of people ask about how to handle their gecko in the comments in YouTube, so today I'm going to make a guide about that. So the first thing I do is I remove all the hides to give myself more space to maneuver. I don't take out the water dish though, because if it spills, like the water, it takes a long time for the reptile carpet to dry. A quick thing about hides is if you have a hide like this that's smooth on the inside that the leopard gecko can't hang on to, then it's safe to just quickly remove it like that. However, if you have a hide with these nooks and crannies, then sometimes the leopard gecko can still be inside, like this. So just be careful when you're taking it out, so that you don't squish the gecko. Okay, so one of the methods that I use to handle my gecko, and this one causes the least stress, is simply to put my hand in front of it and wait for it to crawl on. However, this can take some patience, and you need to wait for your gecko to trust you. This usually takes me several tries before I can get him to climb onto my hand. And then after he does climb onto your hand, all you have to do is take him out and you can handle him. So yeah, as you can see, it requires a lot of patience. You need to and you need a gecko that trusts you. If you have a really skittish gecko, like a gecko that's really flighty, this runs everywhere, this probably actually won't work, especially if he's really scared of you. So this only works if you have a calm gecko and he trusts you already. Now the second method, if you have a gecko that just won't crawl onto your hand no matter what you do, is to take two fingers, put them under his belly, and to pick him up like that. And if he runs away, make sure you don't pinch the tail by accident. So then, with this method, you can just pick him up, put him on your hand, and then let him crawl around on top of you. So I am extremely lucky because I have a pretty calm gecko. He doesn't run around a lot. I still don't know if it's a boy or girl. Okay, I'll figure it out after. I'll let you guys know what gender Godzilla is. By the way, the gecko's name is Godzilla. Anyways, so if you have a gecko that just loves to run around on your hand and up your arm, etc., and you want him or her to stay on your hand, then what I do is I put one hand in front of it. If it wants to crawl, it'll crawl onto the hand, and then you just repeat with the other hand if he keeps moving. So that way you can control him and make sure he stays on your hand. Alright, now it's time for a few quick tips. Number one, remember to never ever pick up your gecko by its tail. It's a big risk. If it thinks you're a predator, it'll drop its tail, and that's bad because one, it causes a lot of stress for the animal. Second, it can get infected and it'll take time to regrow it, during which time it'll have basically no fat reserves, and also it'll look a lot uglier after. Another thing that you need to be mindful of is that geckos have really small fingers, and basically it's pretty easy to accidentally squish them between your fingers if you're not careful. So make sure you don't squish its legs or its nails, like its toes, between your finger cracks. Just be careful about that because they're really fragile. You also need to remember that geckos are really fragile animals and you never want to squish them too hard. So if your gecko is really he doesn't want to be handled and he keeps running around, and you try to pick him up with the two finger method, and then he just doesn't want to, he just won't let you, he keeps running around, then maybe it's best to try another day or to gain his trust first. Put your hand near him a couple minutes a day so he won't think you're a predator or something. Because if you do accidentally squish them just a little bit with your hands, they're very fragile animals, and you could cause internal bleeding or damage to the organs, and that would, first of all, that would cost you a lot of money to fix at the vet, and second of all, it's just not good for your animal. It could die from that potentially. So never squish your animal, because geckos are really skinny and fragile, especially when they're juveniles like mine. Alright, so when I put him back, first I put back all the hides, and because it's if you put in the gecko first, sometimes he'll crawl around where you want to put the hide, and you might accidentally squish him if you put the hide back. And then when I put the gecko back, I either let him crawl back by himself, or I just pick him up with two fingers and I put him back in. It doesn't really matter. So thanks for watching, and hopefully this guide will help you handle your leopard gecko. Alright everyone, that's the end of this video. Hopefully you can now play with your new reptilian friend. I have no idea what I'm saying. Bye!